Hello, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's reads. This should be on YouTube channel James13 Wicca, just in case you're seeing it somewhere else, that's where it should be. The information like the dice and the cards I'm using, that's going to be below. Of course, if you would like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching. Let's go ahead and get into your selection. Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Aquarius? Let's get them all out before we get too excited, right? Okay. First two cards are nice, though. Ooh, okay. Okay. We do have some oracle cards coming here. It's mostly, okay. So, Aquarius, typically Aquarians are very smart, but part of what works for you is digging up the unknown energy, digging up the unknown information. Why did I say energy? Because it's not, okay, a lot just blew me away right there. Aquarius is not just intellect, intelligence. You usually have a few different levels. It's intellect, emotional, social, you know what I mean? There's different ways, like, you can know how somebody's saying something. You can understand when they're saying something, what they're not saying. You can understand also, like, when they say things to this person, it means one thing. When they may say the same thing to somebody else, it can mean something totally different. It's like the social interaction. You can understand, like, how things change and, like, what to look for. This situation, you need to know the energy. You need to know more of what everybody else is not seeing, and that's something you learn over time. You start understanding where to look, how deep to go with certain things. How deep to go? I feel like okay. How deep to go? How deep to go? You know what to do with that. Because I was going to kind of go into this whole analogy about, like, you know, today they can go this far, tomorrow they might be able to go a little bit deeper. Sometimes it's also, though, like, I don't want to be too connected to this. So it's almost like how deep to go in the sense of, like, I don't want to get too deep into that. So I'll only go so far because I don't want to be too deep in it. All right, so you understand what that is. Yeah, you don't let yourself get trapped into things. And when it doesn't look right, you pull back and you're just kind of like, I'm just not going to go too deep for certain reasons. And that's helped you a lot in the past, is what I'm getting. Or maybe it's something you learned. Maybe you learned that through the school of hard knocks, if you will. Maybe when you were younger, you got deeper into situations and learned the hard way, like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have gone that far into that. I knew I should have backed off before I found that information. Because sometimes you learn things where it's like, once you know it, it changes how you view people or certain situations. And you're like, oh, it was easier to get along with this, or it was easier to get along with my friend's partner before I knew this aspect of them. And now that I know these things, I'm not okay with that. If I had just not asked or got into that deeply, I could have coexisted with them a lot easier. I don't know if I really want to give analogies with that. It's almost like, you know, realizing somebody has a very contrary political view to you, and it's kind of like they're going to feel that way. It doesn't come up all the time, but once you know it, you're like, you know, that type of thing. I'm gonna let that be. Okay. The current energy. Is this new or is this okay? I don't know if this is new or not. Still don't know if it's new or not. I know it's a general read, but you got the King of Fire, and the Sun card, the Queen of Swords, the what is this? Knight of Cups, which I can somehow. It comes into my brain when I look away from the card, but I'm looking at it. It's completely vacant. That's fun. Huh. There's a lot coming in with this. A lot of action, a lot of communication, a lot of emotional connection here. There's a lot coming in all at once. A lot. And I feel like you're bringing it down to a sane level. You do like it. I do feel like you like it, but I also feel like you're taking control of it, kind of like, all right, I see that you're very excited. I see that you're very happy, but we're going to do this my way. I feel like we're going to do this my way. We're just going to pull this back. Like, all right, I like that. And I see the King, nope. If I look away from the card, I don't know why the names are popping in, but they are. The Hanged Man comes in, but it's on your terms. You're in control of the Hanged Man. It's not a permanent level, but I kind of like, okay, we'll talk, but there's only, hold on. Like, you're giving me a lot, and I like it, but we're going to do this my way. Hold on. And I do feel like the energy you're dealing with is respectful of this. I'm not sure if this is new or like a new breath of fresh air, or it's almost like knowing somebody. If you've ever had one of those experiences where you've kind of been connected with somebody through friends or worked with somebody for like a year or two, possibly, maybe even longer. And it's kind of like you've coexist nicely, but then all of a sudden you realize you have the same interests or same couple interests. And then you snap together, and it's kind of like, oh, wow, we get along a lot better than I thought we would. That's a subject I keep more close to my chest, and them too. But now that I know that they're into the same thing I'm into, this is cool. Let's talk. Let's get more connected with this. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. But I feel like when if that's how this is going, and it's all of a sudden just snapping into focus, you're like, okay, good, but calm down. It's kind of like, good, but calm down. It's good. I'm happy about it. Let's just take it moment by moment here. It's good, but like, let's chill. Sun card, you seem to like it, and I do feel like the other side is respectful when you're like, hold up, like, yes, good, but calm down. Simmer down. Who's that? Sherry O'Terry used to do that skit. Simmer down now. It's just making me laugh. Simmer down now. I don't know why it is all of a sudden. In your reading, if I look away from the card, like this is no, I thought Page of Pentacles is what it is. But if I look away, I have to disconnect from the card, the name comes in. If I look at it, it's like it goes right out of my brain. I don't know what's up with that. Is this something where you don't want to be too direct with the situation? You just kind of want to dig it out a little bit more? That may be it. But the reason I'm popping this card up here is as long as there's progress, it can be slow progress. It actually works better. If it's slow progress, slow and steady wins the race on this one. It's kind of like a building. It's Earth. The way Earth works, and this does feel like, it doesn't have to mean this person's an Earth sign, but they seem to have an Earth type feeling with this situation, in the sense of like, it's either kind of like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and we stay at the same level, or it's 1, 0, -1, -2, -3, and it goes lower, or it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4. I feel like you know what I'm saying. There's like a pattern here and a rhythm. So if you want this to come together and be loyal and be dependable, it can be very predictable. I don't think this is bad. I feel like the engagement, the involvement, the loyalty, that can be very predictable. Intellect matches here for you. So it's not about them having ideas. It's about them following your lead, but it's like slowly getting them used to what you want. Like, this is an energy that's going to work with you. It seems to be looking for your direction and will go the way you want to go. I do feel like intellectually they match, but I feel like motivation wise, it's kind of like you're the one making the decisions, and especially if you do it in that type of rhythm, the more you're going to get the loyalty and you're going to have that dependability. Like they're not going to go forward and go do something that I don't want them to do or create something I don't want them to create. They'll keep talking with me, they'll bounce ideas off at me, and they have a lot of creativity and a lot of different ways to look at things. But I feel like it's very predictable about, like, they won't jump forward with something unless I've kind of given them the green light with it. Because intellect is matching here. Intellect is matching. Actually creating things or moving forward, that seems to be more on the predictable side for this person. I think that works here. Because I feel like whatever this is, I like that. So, like, if you're going into a romance situation, which could be, doesn't have to be, it's kind of like, you know, they have a lot of ideas, a lot of possibilities. They're open to a lot. They'll talk about a lot of different things. They keep you intellectually going. But when it comes to, like, moving forward with, like, you know, wanting to do this or wanting to go on a weekend vacation or wanting to maybe move to the next level in the romance thing, it's like they won't spring on you a marriage announcement before they've talked to you first. It's like there's no surprises in that thing, but they will keep the situation spicy, but they'll talk to you about it first. If that makes sense, they have a lot of ideas and a lot of possibilities. They just won't do anything without your approval first. I hope that makes sense. Okay, so this next part of the path, what is this? Because there's I think I just explained it. Okay. They won't move forward unless you say so. They won't do it unless you want it to. Six of Pentacles and the Death card in question. This won't move forward unless you want it to. They will not move past you. They will talk to you. They'll have a lot of ideas. They'll have a lot of creativity and a lot of different ways to go with it, but they will not move forward without your approval. I don't know how that feels for you. Because I feel like the first step is to realize that that's what's going on here. Which I usually think Aquarius catches on pretty quickly. But it's one of those things where the question more is, does that work for you? I see Aquarius as a leader energy. So I've also seen the catch-22 with some Aquarians, where I don't know if this is true, so if I'm wrong, let me know. It's like they want other people to take the initiative, but when push comes to shove, they're the ones who know what they want. And it's kind of like, I kind of want somebody else to take initiative, but then they don't do it right. And that's aggravating. So it's kind of like, I want them to move forward the right way. Like, does this make sense? Do I make sense with that? I don't know. If I'm wrong, I'm sure you'll tell me in the comments. But, so it's kind of like, it's up to you. Does that make sense? Where it's kind of like, I think I want them to lead, but as long as they do it the right way. Does that make sense? Long story short, what I'm trying to get at is, like, isn't it better if you're the one approving things before it moves forward? You want somebody intellectually interesting, but I feel like it's kind of like, I want them to give me great ideas, and then I want to tell them which one's the right idea. It's kind of like, if we're going to make it super simple, it's kind of like, oh, they're giving me a lot of ideas. They're like, I could have a bouquet of flowers, I could have a rose bush, or I could have a picture of flowers, like a, you know, flat picture, an image of flowers. Maybe I'll use that. An image, not like a picture, like an image of flowers. So do I want the bouquet? Do I want the rose bush that you would plant somewhere? Or do I want the image of it? And it's up to you, which makes sense to you. So, like, if you're living in an apartment, you're like, oh, I don't have anywhere I'd really want to put the rose bush. And then you're like, well, all right, maybe the bouquet works for you. I can put them on the desk, and then I can dry them out later and keep them and put them in whatever. Or maybe it's like the image. I would like the image, like a really beautiful, I'd like a really beautiful picture with maybe my dog or myself, or maybe me and my partner, whatever. Maybe I'd like to have a beautiful photo with some beautiful flowers so I could hang it up on the wall and have that memory. Maybe that's what I want. So, like, what's right for you? Because you're Aquarius. It depends on what your needs are. If you live in an apartment, maybe that rose bush is like, no. Maybe you're like, my apartment's too small for a bouquet of flowers. It'll just smell everything up. it's a nice smell, but when it doesn't have a lot of places to go, and it's going to overpower that room. I don't really want that. So the picture, and having a picture, taking a picture, having an image taken with a bunch of beautiful flowers, that's actually what I want. So let's create that moment, and so I can have an image, and I can hang that image on my wall, so I can have that memory. Maybe that's what works for you. Versus like maybe you have a beautiful house, and you're like, oh, I really would love a rose bush, and then this person says, well, what? Okay, so I'll get you a rose bush. Wait. This is the color I want. This is the type I want. You know what I mean? Because it's not like it's just one rose bush out there. There's different types. You're like, okay, yes, the rose bush, but this is the one that would work for what I want. Or somebody might say, I can get you a rose bush, and you're like, that's nice, but what I want is a lilac bush, and I want this type of lilac bush. That's what I want. This person, it's almost like the point I'm trying to make is like, it's not just going to be like they surprise you because it seems nice. Like, it's kind of like them surprising you with an opportunity, but then you kind of saying, yeah, that's a great, I love that. Yes. And this is the one I want. This one. Yes, you're going to do this. The bush, but I want a lilac bush, and I want that lilac bush. That one. You know what I mean? Versus in any one of those, like they're giving like, I could get you this. And you're like, yes, you can. But with this detail, with that. I hope I made sense with that. So it's kind of nice to have the approval. And I feel like they're then kind of saying something more. I feel like this is good. Be careful. So I went through all that whole analogy of like the detail thing. That's not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. For some people it does work when you say, like, I could get you one of those things. And you're like, yeah, any of those are acceptable. I don't feel like that's true for Aquarius. If I'm wrong, I'm pretty confident you're gonna let me know in the comments. Because I feel like when people do that and they're like, oh, any of those options would be fine, I just feel like disappointment is abound. You can do it that way, but they're like, I'll just let love lead the way, if you will. Whatever you get me is fine. I just remember somebody saying that to their partner once. This doesn't have to be a love reading, so it can be any way. It could be a business, could be a job, whatever. But I remember somebody saying this to their partner once. Anything you get me will be fine. And they didn't know each other that well at that point. And they didn't realize, their partner didn't realize that they were allergic to a certain thing. And they got them a gift. It was some type of candy. And every one of those candies had this thing that they were allergic to in them. It just, I don't know. I just remember that moment. And it's kind of like, it was really kind of like a bummer moment. But they learned something new about their partner they didn't know before. It was a bummer moment, though. That's one way to go. It's not going to be the most beneficial. Another thing is balance it. Oh, yeah, that's obvious. Balance it. You could you're starting a whole new era with this situation. You're starting a whole new era. Balance it is what I'm getting. Judgment is in your favor. The Ace of Cups shows up. And it's kind of like you could do the lovers thing and just like, oh, it goes where it goes and it's fine. And that's a fine outcome. It's not a bad outcome. It's fine. Or you got the rejuvenating rain with the Judgment in your favor and the Ace of Cups. And then I got like the Two of Pentacles and the World's coming in, realizing you're starting a whole new era and you're setting the stage. So however this energy is coming in, typically, in my opinion, however you set the stage, it usually stays that way for the whole duration, in my opinion. So if you start kind of like deciding like, oh, they give you these options, you're like, I like that one. That's perfect. If you go that direction, insist the same on the way back. And you know how to do that. So some people would go, oh, I just want you to be as specific as possible with me too. And they'd leave it at that. That's not going to work here. In your Aquarius, you have different ways to do it. I have some Aquarius in my chart that's kind of prominent. So I'm thinking I know how this is going to go. So it's kind of like, I'm going to use the analogy of going out somewhere to eat. and people do the hem haw thing. I don't know. And then I'll choose a place, and they're like, I don't want to go there, and I'll push it even farther. Well, do you not want to go there because it's this type of food, or if it's because of this type of atmosphere, or it's this far away? What reason are you saying no to that? I don't know. I don't feel like it. Well, then I'll push again, and I'll be like, well, then let's go there if you don't know why, because I want to go there. And they're like, no, I don't want to go there. All right, then let's go to McDonald's. I don't want to go to McDonald's. I just train this person to be specific. Train this person to tell you what they want. I feel like Aquarius is facetious, can be facetious, because I have some of that in my chart, and I've done it. I will choose something that somebody doesn't like purposely to make them choose what they want. I've done it. I'll even start driving towards the place that I know they don't like. And I'm like, well, you said you didn't care, and I want to go here. And they're like, well, unless you choose something quick, or else we're going there. And then you know how to do it. You can be, is it facetious? I don't know. You know how to get this person, you know how to get these people to do, you know how to do it. You know how to do it. You are your own flavor. You can get these people to be specific back, and like get them used to your personality. And like when you choose something, you know that I feel like that's a good thing. Train them to do the same with you. I don't know if the way I brought that forward, if that's rotten, then I'm rotten, because I've done that. I have done that. Because there was a specific person I did that to, and they didn't want to choose. So I think it was McDonald's, because they hated McDonald's for whatever reason. And I was like, I don't have a problem with them. I'm going to go there. They did choose where they wanted to go. That connection didn't last all that long either. So I'm not saying that's a good thing. You got to make your own choices. Stabilize what works here. Pay attention. That is, I think, a shortcoming of Aquarius. Pay attention to how people react, especially this connection, because you're going to learn, like, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's insulting, and if it's insulting, you want to address it, and you want to kind of like back away from certain behaviors if it's not working. I do think that's a shortcoming for Aquarius. You can let me know if you think I'm wrong. Because you're very intellectual, and to you it's like, oh, it's no big deal, it was just a little comment, come on. But to them it might have hurt their feelings, and if it hurt their feelings, it might linger. Realize that that's what's going on here, and kind of connect a little deeper, and if it seems like they're a little upset about it in some version, bring the energy down, and then kind of put it in your memory banks. All right, I should be a little bit more careful with that if I want this relationship to continue and to be in a positive place. Okay. There's more coming in. This connection has an ebb and flow to it. It should have an ebb and flow. It won't always be up here. It won't always be down there. It should go back and forth, but it should be ebb and flow. It shouldn't be like we're up one day and we're down the next. It shouldn't be manic like that, but it should kind of go more, less. And you know how much communication you'll need to do to keep that going. But when it starts coming down to the less, let yourself rejuvenate, let them rejuvenate. Let that happen. I just feel like let that happen, but don't let it completely fall off. But like kind of let it come down. It's supposed to go up and down. It's supposed to. I feel like that's what it needs to go. It should create a rhythm. This energy has a lot of earth potential there. I'm going to say earth potential. So if you get like an ebb and flow, it's almost like maybe we're doing a lot. Like for 3 months we're doing a lot, then for 3 months we're kind of doing less. Like it kind of goes up. Like it's almost like summertime we're doing a lot, and during the fall we slowly go down to doing less. Then in the winter we don't do very much, and then in the spring we start doing more, and then in the summer we do a lot. Or could be like every other month for whatever reason. If you have a business schedule, that's just how it works. Like every other month it's very busy. There should be like some type of like ebb and flow, or some type of pattern here you can identify. Roll with the pattern, make the pattern work to your advantage. It's realizing it's there and then using it to your advantage. So it's just like focusing it there and realizing that's happening. If you see it happening and you see that pattern, just use it to your advantage. I don't doubt Aquarius's ability to see it. I just like, it's just about you focusing on it and seeing it as an opportunity. It's not like it's like obviously you'll know it's happening, but like seeing it as a moment of advantage you can take advantage of. a moment of opportunity that you could take advantage of, if I can get my brain there. Why is it when I look away on your reading that if I look away from the cards, it comes in a lot easier at the moment? I don't know why that is, but for your reading, that's what's happening. There's going to be opportunities for healing here. So I almost feel like this is kind of a side note. Whatever you're connecting to, whoever this is, could be love, business, whatever it is, could be somebody that you're having a special interest with, and you're just realizing you both have this special interest and you're connecting in just that realm, whatever it is. You're going to learn a lot about this person, and there's going to be moments of healing that are possible. Either it's through talking it out between the two of you, or however that is, or it could be one of those things where you can encourage somebody to get professional help. Or maybe, just to be fair, might be something where you recognize, like, you know what, this has always been a problem for me. Maybe if I find a therapist or something, maybe they can help me see something I don't see, or maybe they can help me find a way to deal with this that I haven't come across before. So I can advance my intellect and I can handle this differently. There's these moments for possible healing that just pop up. It just randomly shows up, and it may be in the sense of, like, you're randomly identifying, like, oh, that's messed up, that should go differently. it's just gonna randomly click, like, oh, that's not right. You could either see it in them or yourself. There's these opportunities for advancement, opportunities for healing, either through talking it out with this person or finding you don't have to go to a therapist. It's just an option. I'm one of those people that I look through and I watch, like, Katie Morton every now and then, and I'm like, oh, that seems to resonate, like, ooh. And then a lot of times she'll give ideas for books, or she'll talk about the subject, and I can look up other things on the subject and see what other people have done, or blah, 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 blah. You're Aquarius. You'll find ways. But that's like a side note. There's opportunities for healing here with this connection. This is a very good connection for you and for whoever you're dealing with. So they're just kind of putting that like a side note there. I don't know. It's just there. I felt like I should add it. So if that helps you, great. This is a long one too. Libra's was, and yours was very long this time. So hopefully that's helpful. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to shut this down here. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below. Same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.